Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Last Stand Gamers, and welcome. So, we're exploring the shipwreck. If you don't know where this is, it's northeast of Brazino. If you follow up the coast, it's a big old container ship that's cracked in half, and it looks absolutely stunning. On the other hand, loot here is okay. I found one or two weapons when I came to visit this place before. I found a tactical vest, and more importantly, this is the only place I have ever found a press tactical vest with the big press logo on the front. So when I come and visit these places and you see these, it really just gives you wondering what happened. Could this be the ship that brought the virus to Shenarus? Or could it just be another element in the whole world? I mean, what happened? Was the infected container full of zombies on board, or was there something else that happened? What caused them to crash into this rock? Did the crew get taken over? I mean, it's just all the things that you can take about. So as we're looking down into the cargo holds, there's not much loot around, because I've got a feeling that someone has been here before. Someone very recently, because there's a pair of jeans on the floor there, and the rest of the loot that I kept finding seemed to be like it was just leftovers, that someone had already cycled through the best. So that's the bridge of the ship anyway. There's a number of decks. The most important deck is the deck below that requires you to get on a ladder to go down. These areas here seem to be quite vacant of loot at the moment, but maybe there'll be some loot there in the future. So another thing I was thinking about when I was on these boats in this ship area is this really helps connect the upper parts of the map now. So we've no longer got a big gap of land between Brazino and the large open creek, you could say, up in the north. Plus the map's now been extended and there's now a dock up there, so this is going to be a nice waypoint between the two areas and possibly actually bring a little bit more of a fight up to this area, because this was one of the quietest area of the maps and most people tend to put the tents up here near the Black Lake and Willow Lake. So we'll see what happens with this place, and you can imagine the CQB combat that would actually take place in here if there was actually a shootout. But more importantly, imagine if a team actually had this ship as a base. I mean, you've got some great security positions. You can look around 360. There's only one or two blind spots, as you could say. There's one at the bow, and you could say there's also the crack in the right hand side, but that would require the person to swim aboard. So there's nothing much on the bridge. I found a Mosin Nagant bayonet on this bridge the other day. We got some 7.62 rounds there. I'm having a quick look around the scenery. So the only real threat is that hill. You have great overview of the rest of the terrain, and to actually get aboard the ship, it means they have to enter through that open ground in the middle. So it is a perfect base structure almost. So we don't need to get down here and actually get into the hull of the ship now. So we're going to have to be pretty careful, because this is where all the loot tends to be. It's normally racked along the deck chairs and the, bunk beds. And in each of these rooms we have a different number of surplus usually. Normally you can find some grade military equipment, and you can also find some basic equipment, things that you just need generally on your survival. And I can imagine there's going to be another spawn point somewhere up the coast, because at the moment they're all so far down south, it doesn't seem like this area would even get looked at. And every time I've been here, there's not been a single player that I've actually made contact with. So moving around the ship a little bit further, this is probably the best deck to actually search for anything. The front of the ship is completely useless. There's a little bit, but most importantly, the bit about the front ship is that it has these awesome arena locations that I'll show you shortly. So we've just climbed down. We're now in the hull of the ship once again, and we're going to climb up to the front of the ship, or the bow, and basically have a look what loot we can find there. Usually there's not too much good loot in the front, but we have some interesting arena sort of areas where you could probably kidnap players, bring them back, and then possibly make them fight to the death if you're that way inclined. It's a bit impossible and rather hard to do that at the moment though, due to the lack of vehicles and transportation. So it would take a very long time of snatching people down south and then bringing them up north to actually get that to work. So there's one of the arenas that I thought would be really cool. There's basically one way in down the ladders, and you've got multiple ways of observing and viewing and keeping yourself safe. This is the other arena. You've got that whole sort of Thunderdome Mad Max feel with that one man enter, one man leave sort of feeling. You've got some basic loot there. You could also do like a pistol challenge. You put a pistol in the center and make them both fight for it, but then there's no pistol rounds, so they have to beat each other to death. I don't know, some basic ideas anyway. A bit more information on the DayZ front from my videos is the survival guide will be coming, but it's a little bit early and I don't want to jump the gun. so it will be waiting probably to full release or till when more features have came out to get that on the show. So I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching, and try to check out this awesome shipwreck.